This is from a group called He Says, A Man's Value. And it's placed around this picture right here, which Steph is cold. Posted this picture. You just need to go to the gym and get some money. You're not ugly, bro. You just need to go to the gym and get some money. Huh. Yeah, that's another one of those self help things. Oh, yeah, just go to the gym and get some money and then you'll get the girl, right? But she wasn't with you, before you had the money. She wasn't interested in you before you had the muscles, right? She's not interested in you for who you really are, for your soul, just just your money and your muscles, right? So this is a group called He Says, which sometimes I don't agree with stuff they write. Uh, One of the problems with the manosphere, a lot of what I see today is problematic in the manosphere is that uh, it's too focused on self improvement and not on the actual truth, right? Not on the actual truth of the matter. It's too focused from the man's self improvement perspective as opposed to like, well, what are women doing? How are they improving their relationships with men? How are they treating men? Is anyone teaching them how to love a man or to treat a man? But instead, it's all about like, oh no, you just got to make more money, bro. Level up, bro, and then you'll get the girl, bro. It's just like, and that's mixed in with red pill ideology. So they say all this. It's like such a contradiction, right? They say all this stuff about like hypergamy this, hypergamy that, female nature this, female nature that, and then they turn around and they're like, oh, level up and get a better woman. It's just like so contradictory. But let's see what this guy says. He says, a man's value, the intrinsic value of something is said to be the value that something has in itself or for its own sake or in its own right. This photo illustrates the point that people often make that men have no intrinsic value on the dating market. Good. Okay, so he's telling the truth here. This is what's really going on. This means that the average man must make something of himself before they are able to seen as valuable. Right. Remember, TLC told us, I don't want no scrubs. Exactly. That was a big song. I remember that song in the 90s. I was a kid, I think I was in middle school when that song came out. I don't want no scrubs. I mean, that's just a blatant message of female hypergamy. And it was a crazy popular song. I don't want no scrub. And all the young girls, and obviously that's brainwashing. That song is brainwashing. The Britney Spears songs of the world. Oh, oops, I did it again. I play with your heart. I mean, I can't sing but that was the song. Britney Spears. It was super popular. Oops, I did it again. It was like 1999 or something. No Scrubs came out in like 1996 or 97. Those songs were crazy popular. And who do you think's loving those songs and going to those concerts and buying those albums? Young girls. And what do you think that's doing? It's training them. It's teaching them to be, hypergamous. So he's 100% right. I've said that before on my channel too. I've mentioned that song before. I don't want no scrubs. A bunch of times I mentioned that song because that's how women feel. And that's how women are taught to feel. Oh, you don't want to date no loser. Oh, he's got to have money. Woo, woo, woo. Her mom's in her ears saying that. Her dad's in her ears saying that. Her family, her friends are in her ears saying, you don't want no loser guy. Da 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 da. And what does all this do? Where's the pressure? It's not necessarily on the woman. Yes, she's got the burden of choice, meaning she has to choose the right guy, blah, 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 right? But the pressure is on the man. Oh, I got to step it up. I got to make the money. I got to be the provider. I got to be the breadwinner. I can't be no loser. I can't be no scrub, right? What's the message there to young men? You're only valuable as long as you bring something to the table. You don't have intrinsic value. You're only valuable as long as you provide something, financially or otherwise. Mostly financially, because this world's all about money. Conversely, women do have intrinsic value, meaning they are seen as valuable for no other reason than that they are a woman. Exactly. An accomplished man could find interest in a minimum wage babysitter, marry her, and change her life forever simply because he's interested in her and finds her beautiful. Think of Tiger Woods and his first wife. That would never happen for a minimum wage man. 100% on the money, bullseye, bingo, correct. A woman doesn't have to bring anything to the table besides herself. And that's sad. It needs to change. It's sick. It's why women don't respect men. It's why women walk around with this undeserved sense of self-accomplishment. It's why women walk around with this cocky, arrogant attitude, and they think they can do anything and get away with it, and they actually are able to, because society coddles women. Society panders to women. Society is gynocentric. Society is gynocentric. I've said this so many times on my channel, made videos about it. Society is gynocentric. It's focused around women. It uplifts women. It puts women on a pedestal simply for breathing, simply for existing, and it scrutinizes men. It puts men under a fine tooth and comb, and like, oh, it's everything about a man is in question. He's got to prove himself in every single way, and women don't have to at all. This is why you have these crazy shows like, you know, Housewives of Atlanta, or this, you know, these crazy shows with these women, these horrible women who are acting like 2-year-olds throwing tantrums. That's literally their personality and their character all day, every day, is 2-year-olds throwing tantrums. Drama, backstabbing, lying, gossiping, hating. These are that's what produces that. When you have no checks and balances, when you have no accountability, when you don't have to do anything to get value, that's what that means. You just walk around like you're a goddess. And this is why women think they are. And it's all based around sex. All you got to be is sexy. If you're not sexy, then you don't have much value as a woman. Sort of. But even then you do, because feminism and because female, and it's just, which is why you have these women who are like not even sexy. They're like nasty. They're like 2 out of 10s who literally think they're 10 out of 10s, and they literally believe this. It's not like they're trying to, you know, self-affirmations or anything. They really believe that. They really believe they're 10 out of 10s because society tells them so. Society's like, oh, you're a woman, you got it made. It's bonkers. How can you have a relationship? How can you have good marriages? How can you have good interpersonal dynamics between men and women? You can't. There's this big chasm. Men are viewed as a means to an end. Men are viewed as, you know, tools, basically. Tools. And hey, if you don't bring something to the table, if you don't look like the guy on the right, rich actor, now he's got muscles, probably on steroids, but anyway, right? If you're not the guy on the right and you're the guy on the left, and so I think somebody in a comment said they're both good looking, but whatever, dude. Like, if you're not bringing something to the table, you might as well not exist. You're nothing. You're less than nothing. You're invisible to most women. Conversely, women do have intrinsic, this pressure has become something in order to be seen as valuable. This pressure to become something in order to be seen as valuable is one of the reasons why men suffer with depression, suicide, and feelings of worthlessness. I would say it's the biggest reason. You know, you have to achieve something. You have to bring something to the table. You gotta be good looking, be buff, be tall, good dresser, drive a nice car, have money, have expendable income. All the stuff that they teach you how to do in self-improvement. Oh yeah, you know, you should be the guy who's picking up the tab for everyone else. That's what an alpha male would do. You should be the guy who's giving all the wisdom and advice to the friends. That's what an alpha male would do. You need to be an alpha male. That's the kind of guy that all women want. And it's like, what happened to being yourself? What happened to like just enjoying life? What happened to like loving yourself for who you are, as opposed to constantly being under this pressure, under this boulder and weight and stress and burden of providership, or being this or being that, right? For this reason, I encourage every man to work on finding your purpose quickly and move towards it. I mean, I don't know. Find a hobby, find something you love doing, find something that makes you happy about life. For me, it's photography. You know, I like photography. I like beautiful cities. I like looking at pictures of nature. I like watching nature shows, you know. That's kind of my passion. That's kind of what I'm passionate about, right? I don't know if that's my purpose. I would say everyone's purpose is to find God. That's my That's my viewpoint on that. Everybody needs God and they don't realize it. The purpose of man is to contain God. That's in the Bible, so that's what I believe. So I don't know if I'd use that word purpose, because people will be like, "Oh, my purpose is to be a marathon runner. Or my purpose is to be a bodybuilder." It's like, I don't think so. I think that everybody's purpose is to be with God. If we're talking about fulfillment, if we're talking about fulfilling what your intended fate was supposed to be, it's you got to get in contact with God. That's the only way. And from my experience, I'm not preaching necessarily. I'm just saying I'm just giving you the real deal, the straight up truth. But I would say find hobbies. I would say find something that makes you happy. Like I said, for me, it's photography. It's I go hiking. I go for walks. I enjoy nature. I like animals. I enjoy looking at trees, looking at mountains, I like it when it snows. You got to find something that's like makes you feel happy to be alive. Because if your only focus is like, oh, I got to improve because I got to be something and then I'll be worthwhile and then people will accept me. Like, I learned a long time ago, forget about what people think. Do not be worried at all what people think about you, because people's feelings for you can change. People can be manipulated into not liking you. That, if you base your self-worth and your self-happiness on how other people feel about you, that's a fool's game, man. Don't play that game. Let's see. Work on self-development, which includes developing both personal skills and professional skills that will pay huge dividends down the road. Yeah, I don't have any issues with that necessarily. Do something, you got to fortify your financial future. I would say learn social skills as well. That's important. It's important because you need to be able to adapt to a social landscape. You need to be able to learn how to be social, because as humans we group together, and you don't want to be necessarily too separated. I'd say it's a catch-22, because on the one hand, like, I'm for being social, but I'm not for putting all your stock and investment into social outcomes, if that makes sense. Meaning, like, that shouldn't be your whole life. You need to have an abundant secret life. And what I mean by that is you need to have an abundant personal life. You need to have, like, figure out a way to, whether it's interior design, make your living space very comfortable for yourself, read books, grow the garden of your personal life, if that makes sense. Maybe even literally have a garden to grow. You gotta, and that's one trick about life that I've learned, is that you gotta figure out how to find the fruit in life, because life can be very dry, life can be very lonely, life can be very disappointing. But there are certain things in life that will never disappoint you. There are certain things in life that will always be there for you. Okay, such as nature, such as, like, say you like cats and you got a couple cats, or I personally like cats. I'm a cat guy. Like, I just think cats are cute. It's like, oh yeah, haha, cat lady. But no, I think cats are cute. I've always liked cats, even though I'm allergic to them, so I can't have them. But I like watching cat videos and funny videos and things, like funny animal videos and stuff. Like, there's always things out there to go to. Because if you put all your eggs in one basket, like, oh, I worked so hard so that I could get accepted, and I was rejected and I failed, and that's all you have. You could fall into a big depression. You could fall into, like, suicidal thoughts, or, like, feeling like your life is over. Or, like, you can't do that. You gotta, and I would say, like, even I would say even, not, I think I'm just repeating myself now, but don't put all your happiness on how other people feel about you. Have your own self-esteem. And I learned that in my early 20s, is that you have to figure out a way to make yourself happy by yourself, on your ones, on your own, on your, just you, yourself, and you. That's it. Find a way. If you can do that, if you can figure out a way to make yourself happy. Now, it was maybe a little easier for me because I'm an introvert. but I've also I've had a long life of being around other people, being in groups. I played basketball. I've attended church. I've had friend groups, so I know what that is. I know what it is to interact and to have friends and to be a part of a group and mingle in a group. So it's good to have those skills. But it was easier for me, I think, because I'm an introvert, to not put all my worth in how my social group, whether it was the basketball team or my friend group or the kids at school or whatever, to not feel like, and I made this mistake in high school. Actually, in high school, I very much cared about what people thought of me, and it was way too much, and I was miserable. I was very unhappy, even though I was outwardly successful on the basketball team, yada yada. I was still cared too much about how people thought about me, and like that messed me up, because people can pick up on that, and people like will take advantage of that, or like, it's this weird thing where like when you care so much about what other people think about you, people tend to like not care about you. It's a weird thing. Whereas like if you put in less effort, and if it's the correct type of effort, if it's like, yeah, I care about you guys, or you can care, like it'll come out. If you care, it'll come out. It's just you got to understand that you can take something or leave it. It's the same with a woman. You can take her or you can leave her. If she doesn't bring to the table what you want, then you take it or leave it, right? Same with the friend group. Same with like, I'm here, I'm hanging out, or I'm part of the group, part of the church group, or I'm part of the team effort if we're playing sports or whatever. But at the same time, like, I know who I am. I'm solid in my self-esteem. I'm solid in my viewpoint of myself. I know what I represent. I know what I stand for. And I don't need the group. I don't need anybody to validate that, because I validate that. I know who I am, and I stand on my standards. I stand on my morals. I stand on my character. I stand on my beliefs. And that's all I need. Once you figure all that out, once you figure out who you are, what you believe, your purpose in life, for me, again, and I think it's for everybody's purpose, is God, but the Bible helped direct me. If I didn't have that, then probably I wouldn't have an anchor. Even there's a Bible verse that says, build your home upon the rock. Christ is the rock. Build your house upon the rock. And I fully took that verse and I applied it to my life, and I feel like that's made probably most of the difference, is that I was able to leave the group and kind of subsist on my own apart from it, because I had Christ, right? But at the same time, I still carved out values. I carved out a character for myself. I carved out a way to figure out who I am, what I want, where I want to go, what I enjoy doing, what helps me, even like, integrating health habits of exercise and quality diet and drinking good water. That's all part of it too, right? Knowing your worth as far as who you are in a relationship, and not being afraid to stay single if you can't find somebody who comes up to your standards. So I would say that's all part of this. So I applaud this post. I think this he says has said different stuff over the years that I kind of maybe didn't agree with. The guy who runs this page might be finding himself as well, whatever. But I applaud this post. This is a really good post. Doing this will help increase your value to the market, help to increase your values to those around you, and most importantly, increase your value and self-esteem to yourself. Yes, I would say most importantly, I wouldn't really care how much value I bring to the market or how much value I bring to those around me, because most people are just selfish anyways. The market is selfish. The market doesn't care about men. Again, it's, if you don't bring something to the table as a man, you have no value. You have no value. You have no worth. So, yeah, you kind of lost me in the last couple sentences there. Like, I wouldn't worry about how much value I bring to the market. I don't want to be a part of the market. I know how much value I have in myself, and I know about my own self-esteem, and that's it. And like, if you don't like it, piss off. You know what I mean? If you don't like who I am, if you don't like me, I'm not here to impress you. I'm not a clown. I'm not a dancing bear for you. This ain't a circus. This is my life. You don't like who I am? Peace out. See ya. and there's the door you can leave. Don't let it hit you on the way out. Period. I'm not out here trying to impress anybody. If I work out, it's for me. If I try to increase my financial assets, it's for me. It's for my life. It's not so I can gain value or approval to the market or impress anybody or get a girl. Or it's like no, because if she ain't down with you on the left, why should she be down with you on the right? You see, so Steph is cold, Steph is dope, whatever. He's the guy on YouTube. I've watched some of his videos, and he's got some good content, some good red pill content as far as spreading the truth. But a lot of times these red pill guys is mixed with this self-help stuff. Oh, you're not ugly, you just need to go to the gym and get some money. So then she'll accept you if you're the guy on the right, but she wouldn't accept you if you're the guy on the left. So then you can be the cool guy with the money and all the friends and blah, blah, blah if you're on the right, but not on the left. It's like both are fine. Both are fine. You're fine on the left and you're fine on the right. Both are okay. You don't need to take steroids to get all buff. You don't need to, oh, I need to sell my soul to start a business, or I need to go act like Andrew Tate so I can become this cool, confident man of the world to gain culture and I have stories to tell and impress girls and like, nah, man, just do what makes you happy. If you want a girl, go get a girl. You know what I mean? And if she didn't like you for who you are, then she ain't worthy of you. Period. If a woman does not like you for who you are, whether you're poor, rich, ugly, fat, whatever, then she's not worthy of you, man. And it's not to say that you should stay poor and fat and ugly per se. Always try to self-improve, but you should do it for you, not for her, right? And I would say if you started out poor, fat, and ugly, and no girl wanted you, and then all of a sudden you made money, you lost the weight, now you're buff, now you're attractive, and now all of a sudden all these women want you, I would say none of them are worthy of you now. Just because you have access to them now doesn't mean they're worthy of you. If they weren't down with you back when you had nothing, it's just like Kobe Bryant, What was any woman in the gym with him every day, all day, shooting free throws, shooting thousands of shots a day? Was any woman there with him? No. And no disrespect to his wife or whatever, but I'm just using Kobe as an example because he was somebody who had talent, yes, but he worked to become a champion. He worked to become one of the greatest ever. He could have just rested on his laurels, rested on his talent, but he was in the gym busting his ass at 5 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., practicing before practice. That's why Kobe Bryant is a champion, and may he, God rest his soul, is a great man. Not like the NBA stars of today who just rest on their talent. He worked hard, and there's something to be said for hard work. Granted, but understand that none of the people who are there when you are successful, none of the people who are there who just pop out, come out of the woodwork, all of a sudden you get muscles and girls just show up. Oh, now I like you. You weren't down with me when I didn't have muscles, so what's this? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but then I got a little let's see, hold on. I got a little off in these comments here. This woman, I don't know if I should show her name, but this woman here is like, this is what she says. She says, she's this little quote: "Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Historically, society has always deemed men the leaders." Yeah, I don't know. That's some dumb shit. Historically, society has, men are leaders. We just are. It's not society that deemed them. It's just men just naturally take the lead. It's women have always naturally been submissive, and they don't have that initiative a lot of times. Not to say all of them, but women have always lived vicariously through men's successes. Women have always looked for men to provide for them. So what does that mean? It means men step up to meet the female's demand or her needs. So That's some loaded crap right there. It's probably some feminist crap. Men have value of self as they are human beings. Not really. Well, I'd like to say that. I'd like to uh, believe that men have value of self as human beings, but as we're really, you know, treated in society, nah. She says, but society will definitely look at men to see what value they have to offer the world, community, and relationship. Yeah, I agree with that. When anything goes right or wrong, the leaders get the praise or consequence. Yeah, okay. I was taught to always ask a man what's his vision because a man with vision has purpose. A man without a vision has no purpose to work on. There you go. So even though she waxes philosophical in that first paragraph, the last paragraph she says, "Oh, I was taught to seek a man with a vision." So again, that's hypergamy. That is exercising, as it says here, leeching off of men's success and living vicariously through their victories and leadership. Typical manipulative female. Exactly. So even though she waxes philosophical and says, "Oh, society will definitely look at a man to see what value he has to offer the world," and then she just admits to doing it herself. I was taught to always ask a man, "What's his vision?" Because a man without a vision a man with a vision has purpose. A man without a vision has no purpose to work on. So what if he didn't have a vision? You wouldn't love him. You would just discard him. So you don't really love him. You're not really worthy of any man because you want the vision. You don't want the man, right? And this is where people conflate things. This is where people are like, oh, so she literally admits that she is a proponent of what is harming men. Men have to bring something to the table. Men have to bring a vision to the table. Men have to bring value to the table. Men have to bring leadership to the table, masculinity, success, competence, providership, financial assets, and that all comes from a vision. So what she means, what's your vision? Well, yeah, I want to have a business, be a millionaire. Okay, I can get on that, right? I can get on your train. So maybe she'll ride with you for a little while if you got a vision, but I guarantee if your vision doesn't materialize into anything and you guys start struggling, she's gonna jump ship because that's female nature. Females sit around at the finish line and pick the winners. There you go. So, but no, this is an interesting post. Yes, men need to have value. Yes, men need to have self-esteem. Your value comes from how you feel about yourself, not about your success. And I'm not dogging on success. I'm not saying success is a bad thing per se. I'm not saying men shouldn't seek to self-improve, shouldn't seek success, shouldn't seek financial, independence, success, assets, things like that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is those things are transient. They can come and go, right? You can always lose your job and lose your money. You can always lose your health. You can always lose your looks. You can always lose something. The question is who's there with you when you have nothing? Who's down with you when you have lost everything? That's the real person who loves you. That's the real people who really care about you. And I would say very, 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 very few people will stick around when you lose all your success, when you lose your job, your car, your home, whatever. And I'm not saying that will happen. Those are things that we all are fearful of. I think everybody's like, I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to get sick. All these things I don't want to do. But it's possible that those things might happen. And so it just goes back to that old adage, the old maxim, which is that a man has to bring something to the table in order for himself to be, in order for a woman to love him. A woman's love is conditional. A man's love is idealistic. Women don't love idealistically. They love pragmatically as far as how it relates to what you're doing for them, right? Briffault's law always goes back to Briffault's law. Like, as long as there's something she has to gain from you, she's interested. Once you no longer have something that she wants, such as stability, docile leadership, financial providership, when you lose those things, she will disappear. And that's how you know who really loves you. That's how you know who's really down for you. You could call that pessimistic, you could call that black pilled. I just call it the red pill reality. I just think that's the truth. And so from that moment, it's like, how could you trust anyone? Or how could you trust any woman? How could you trust any? And most men out there, when you look outside, what are most men doing? They're trying to earn more money. They're trying to work hard so they can get a woman. Deep down, whether they admit it or not, this is, or whether they even realize it or not, this is their motivation. I need to make more money so I can get a house, so I can get a woman. I need to step up my financial assets so I can get a woman. You're buying a woman, and this all it always comes back around to hypergamy. It always comes back around to female nature. It always comes back around to the red pill, what we talk about in the red pill. You got to buy a woman. She's a product. She's a commodity. She sells herself as such. She views you as a product, as a means to an end to get where she wants to go, what kind of lifestyle she wants financially, etc., etc. This is all outward, vapid, shallow, materialistic, transient things that can come or go. Yeah, you might be a provider for your whole life, but you might not. What happens if you get sick? What happens if you lose your money? Plenty of guys out there get divorced because they don't make enough money. Plenty financial reasons are like a top 3 reason of divorce. What does that tell you? Right? 50% of marriages end in divorce. Women are initiating 85% of divorces, and the top 3 reasons for divorce are irreconcilable differences, infidelity, and financial instability. That's it. There you go. So financial instability is a top 3 reason. So what's that tell you about female nature? It's saying you got to buy my love. You got to buy my intimacy. You got to buy me. Buy me, buy me, buy me. And nowadays it ain't even that. All you got to do is be a bad boy. You can get her into bed. Why buy the cow when the milk is free? Right? There you go. Female nature. So I would say, as a man, check your motivations. Check what you're doing it for. Are you doing it for validation from your social group so that you can feel better about yourself? If that's a reason, then you need to dead that. You need to stop that. You need to learn how to find self-esteem in yourself, just based on your own worth. And this comes back to knowing your worth. You matter, and you you have worth just for breathing. You have worth whether you're overweight, whether you're this or that. Whether you're broke or rich or poor or short or tall or ugly or great looking, you have worth, and you can find love and you can find purpose. I would say in God, but you can, it always goes back to one of my, I like these old movies. I like this movie called Jeremiah Johnson. He's trying to find life's meaning. He's trying to find something beautiful. He's trying to find happiness, and so he can't find that in society. And those are my favorite type of movies, when guys are leaving, like Dances with Wolves or Moby Dick, or, guys are leaving society to go chase a purpose. Guys are leaving society to go chase life's meaning, and I kind of did that when in my early 20s. As I stepped outside of the matrix. You got to leave that, because you realize, hey, why am I suckling at the tit of society? Why am I viewing my self-worth on what other people are thinking about me, like how I fit into this group, blah blah blah, right? Leave that. Find your own happiness. And so what did, in the movie Jeremiah Johnson, what did he do? He went out to the mountains, and he wanted to find beauty and peace and solitude and happiness. And I guess you could call that stoicism, right? And you don't need to necessarily leave your city or leave your home, or you don't need to go out into the woods to find that necessarily. You can find it in your bedroom. You can find it in drawing or photography, or you got parks in your city. You can go walk around in parks and enjoy nature and watch the birds and look at the ducks and like, wow, God's creation is amazing. And I mean, I've been doing that for 20 years. I've been doing that for many, many years. And I find peace there. I find solitude. I find happiness. Things that being around groups of people can't give me, right? People are, and plus they're all in competition with each other. Mostly, unless you're in church, then it's a different story. But if you're in church, it should be about love. It should be about togetherness. It should be about mutuality as far as enjoying God and things like that. But in the world, if you're joining groups, it's cutthroat. It's who's the baddest and coolest, who's the guy who makes the most money. Like, I don't think Andrew Tate has ever left the Matrix. I think he's very much inured to the Matrix because he's successful in the Matrix. He uses the Matrix for his own success, his own validation, his own happiness. I believe all his happiness comes from his success. Even though he meditates and he's very physical and he has a strong mind, from his lifestyle, I don't see that he's not just enjoying the fruits of Egypt, enjoying the fruits of the Matrix, right? I don't see it. And I don't think he is a good example to follow because I think that most people who follow that example will just find unhappiness because you can't find happiness in a Bugatti. I mean, maybe a temporary happiness and be like, oh, I'm cool, I'm driving a Bugatti. But what do you got to do? You got to sell your soul to get it. And as I've said this a million times, but Satan props up certain people. He props up celebrities. He props up successful people to make you think you can be successful just like them. And that's the bait. It's bait. It suckers you in to sell your soul, to give your life, to give your peace and your joy and your happiness away for something that's vapid, for some materialism, for some kind of quote unquote happiness in something that isn't, you know, simple and something you can find joy in. Yes, if you go to the park and you look at the ducks, that's not going to get you laid. I get it. Yes, if you find joy in painting or photography or coloring or, you know, walking, that's not going to get you laid. I get that. But at the same time, like, is that all we need? Is that all life's about? Is just getting laid? So you spend your whole life trying to get laid? It's just, you know what I mean? So it's like, find something, find a hobby, find purpose, learn self-love, learn self-esteem, learn how to find value in and of yourself, not how other people view you. And that's it. I hope and wish that for everybody. I hope that everybody listening could really turn over a new leaf to find peace and find joy. Like I said, I found mine in God. You know, to me, the Bible is the most red-pilled manuscript out there. It's the most truth. It totally exposes the Matrix, totally exposes who's behind the Matrix, totally talks about the purpose of human life, totally talks about why we're here, totally talks about the afterlife, eternity, our future, because we only have however many years here, however many decades, 90 years if we're lucky. Most people get 70, 60, you know, and then we're gone. And then what, right? Our souls are eternal. We think that, oh, life is long, and, you know, when you're a kid, you think, oh, life is so long, and da-da-da. No, it's fast. It's fast. So you gotta figure out what it's all about pretty quick. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Appreciate you guys listening. It's been Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.